what will allow England to become an empire. So the great conflict between England and France, of course, is the Napoleonic Wars, where Napoleon is about to conquer Europe, and Britain cannot have that, okay? Britain is a naval power, and if Napoleon is able to establish an empire in Europe, then England won't be able to trade with Europe. So what England will do is finance 7 wars against Napoleon. And they can do that because they have the Bank of England, which is able to borrow unlimited amount of money from the future as well as across space, okay, across time and space. That's how they're able to defeat Napoleon. Napoleon defeated England 6 times. But England didn't really care because, first of all, England wasn't fighting the war, it was just financing the wars. And England could not stop fighting the wars because otherwise it would go bankrupt, okay? Does that make sense? All right, the Napoleonic Wars. And this establishes, of course, the British Empire. And they can do whatever they want now. So they take over India. And they set up something called the East India Company, okay? And the East India Company is also a nation unto itself. It is at this time, as a company, maybe the 3rd or 4th richest nation in the world. And of course, what they do that's very important is they extract wealth from India. They basically steal a lot of wealth from India. People estimate that they've stolen like $45 trillion of wealth from India. Okay, so you can see how in 1700, before the arrival of the East India Company, India might have like a quarter of the world's GDP, but over the next 200, 300 years, their wealth will plummet, okay? The reason why is, what's gonna happen is that England will turn India into a resource colony. They will destroy the manufacturing base of India, turn it into an agricultural economy, and then force India to buy British manufactured goods, okay? So what they will do is use India to drive their industrial revolution. Okay? And as you can see, they're also forcing the Indians to pay a lot more money than their own people. And so in 1913 to 1950, the average income of Indians don't really change that much, okay? But what's really important for you to understand is this. The British could not have done this without help from the Indian people themselves, okay? So what's happening is the British, through the Bank of England, they're able to co-opt the Indian elite. Why? Because now you're able to take your wealth and then store it in England, okay? Does that make sense? Before, you couldn't really take your wealth anywhere, so your interests were aligned with the people. But now that you're able to take this wealth and then put it in England to be safe, your interests are now aligned with the British. And guess what, guys? The same strategy happened in China as well, where the Chinese local elites were helping the British establish opium trade networks throughout the country. That's why opium was able to spread so fast, okay? And guys, the system is still around today, okay? So the British Empire may be gone, but the British system of money laundering, of stealing a nation's resources by co-opting your elite, it still exists today, okay? So these are all places where England has these offshore private banks so that the elite of Africa, of Asia, can steal from the nation and store it in these banks, okay? All right, so England has some of the world's worst tax havens. All right, so what did England do with this money? Well, what England did was invest it in America. At this time, America is industrializing. And what's interesting about America is only a few individuals were able to monopolize entire industries. This is Cornelius Vanderbilt, and he monopolized the railway industry. How did he do that? This is Andrew Carnegie, who was born poor, but then he monopolized America's steel industry. How did one person do that? That's really strange, guys. Oh, Rockefeller, he monopolized America's oil industry In fact, over 6 weeks, he was able to buy out all his competitors. Where did he get all this money to buy out his competitors? How did he become a monopolist? How is this happening, guys? J.P. Morgan, he monopolizes America's financial industry, and he creates something called the Federal Reserve, which is a system they still have today, where America is ruled by private banks. Okay, how is this happening? All right, so these questions. How is it possible for these individuals to monopolize industries? Why are these monopolies national rather than regional? Okay, and why didn't government make public these critical infrastructure and resources like we do in China, right? Oil should belong to the people. Why does it belong to one person? The reason why is it is England that is using its wealth from India and China to finance these individuals and allow these individuals to develop entire industries. Why is it doing that? Because the Americans at this time in their history, they hate the British, right? The Americans are like, in 1776, we fought a revolution with the British. Why would we allow the British to come back and buy up our land and our oil and our steel and our railways, right? Therefore, they needed people like John Rockefeller and Carnegie to act as their agents. Okay, does that make sense? All right? So in America, you're taught that these people, Andrew Carnegie, John Rockefeller, they were just rags to riches. It's because of the American dream. It's a land of opportunity. If you work hard, you can become a billionaire. No, guys, that's not true, okay? If you belong to a secret society, if you are financed by the British Empire, you can become a billionaire. And guess what, guys? We have the same system today. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, really strange. This 19-year-old guy drops out from Harvard and founds Facebook, okay? And now he's a billionaire. How does that happen, guys? Well, it must be the American dream. Oh, ChatGPT, guys. Really strange. If you have a dream and you just follow it, you can become a billionaire in America. Yeah. It's all just a scam, right? Google, it's all just a scam, okay? What you need to understand about these companies is they were all founded with US military technology that is public, okay? The internet, it's a US military technology. Google, these search engines, it's all US military technology. And they were given to these guys for free. Why would they do that? Okay, again, if you think that we're ruled by secret societies, and it's really secret societies that control the world, and they want this technology out there to better surveil people, it makes a lot more sense, right? Because if the Pentagon said, hey, with this free computer that you can use, you'd be like, I'm not gonna use this computer because you'll spy on me, right? But if Mark Zuckerberg says, hey, free Facebook, guys, want to use it? You're like, yeah, sure, Facebook, yeah. He's a dork from Harvard. Of course he can be trusted, right? Same strategy, okay, guys? All right, so 1913, these bankers met together to set up the Federal Reserve System. And this led to something called the Bretton Woods system in 1945. America won the war, and America promised the world that the US currency, backed by gold, will become the reserve currency of the world. But the US currency will always be backed by gold, therefore you have nothing to worry about, right? Well, in 1971, Richard Nixon says, screw that, okay? We're not backed by gold anymore. We're not backed by gold anymore. You can use it. You don't have to use it though, okay? But guess what? Oil will now be sold in US dollars. Okay, this is called the petrodollar. So if you want to buy oil, you have to use US dollars, okay? And then he did something else that was very important, and actually more important than linking the US dollar to oil. Can you guys guess what? Oh, this. Okay. Guess what? Millions of Chinese working really hard. It's all for useless US dollars, guys. Okay? All right. Okay, so America was founded by Ben Franklin and George Washington, among others. They were both members of the Freemasons. They were both members of secret societies. Okay? So America is really a Freemason country. And how do we know? Look at Washington, D.C., okay? Guess what, guys? The architecture, the city design, it's all secret society stuff, okay? This is a pentagram, and this is the White House, right? This is the White House. And you can see how it's designed. This is occult symbolism. This is another picture showing you that this is a Freemason symbol backed by the Pentagon. I'm sorry, the pentagram, okay? Okay? If you want to see more of the secret society's occult symbolism, just look at the US money. All right, this is the all-seeing eye, the pyramid. All the symbolism comes from Egypt, Greece, Babylon, okay? It's all part of the Freemason system. This is seal of the United States, the New World Order, okay? The New World Order. We'll be discussing this next week. Okay, but now you reach a point in history where you've got too much wealth, people become lazy and complacent. So what do you do with these peasants? We know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to destroy the economy like they did in 1929, and then they're going to start World War III. Okay? That's the goal. Because how the system works is, if you're transnational capital, you need people to constantly focus and working. Okay? And you do that by creating anxiety, by destroying wealth, by creating a cycle of constant death and destruction. All right? Any questions? Clear, guys?